You've probably seen it all over your social feeds. This incredible new wave of technology is just completely sweeping through the creative world. It's powered by AI, and it's acting as a tool, a collaborator, and, for some, a pretty serious threat. Today, we're going to break down how AI is fundamentally reshaping the world of art as we know it.
I mean, it really does feel like magic, doesn't it? You type a few words, something like a robot painting a sunset in the style of Van Gogh, and just moments later, boom, a unique, often totally breathtaking image appears. That's the power of generative AI in a nutshell. And this, right here, this is the huge question that's driving this entire conversation. When a machine creates something that looks like a masterpiece, is that real, genuine artistic creation? Or is it just a very, very sophisticated calculation?
That's exactly what we're going to get into in this explainer. We're going to look at the tools, the real-world impact on artists, and all of the deep, tricky ethical questions that come along with this new frontier. Okay, so first things first, let's get on the same page about what we're actually talking about. What is this new digital brush that artists are starting to play with?
So, at its core, generative AI isn't just, analyzing data. It's a creator. It learns all these patterns from billions of existing images and texts. It figures out the rules of what makes a cat look like a cat or a landscape feel like a Monet. And then it uses all that knowledge to generate something brand new. So think of it less like a camera taking a picture and more like an imagination that's been built entirely out of data.
All right, so let's look at how this is actually playing out for people making art. For a lot of artists, AI isn't a replacement at all. It's more like a powerful new assistant that helps with speed and, maybe most importantly, with ideas.
This quote really just nails one of AI's biggest benefits. Research from Hudson and Lang found that for art students, AI was this amazing tool for smashing through creative blocks. You know that feeling of staring at a blank canvas? Well, the AI can give you that initial spark to get the creative juices flowing.
What's really fascinating is how it's totally changing the creative workflow. Research by Vertla shows artists are plugging AI into 3 key stages. First, for brainstorming initial concepts. Second, for rapidly testing out a bunch of different visual styles. And third, for speeding up the really tedious work of rendering final details. This frees them up to focus on the purely creative stuff.
And when you streamline the whole process like that, well, what do you think happens? You get a massive, and I mean massive, increase in productivity. Artists can just create more, way faster than they ever could before.
And the sheer scale of that boost is kind of staggering. A 2024 study by Zhao and Li looked at an online art platform, and they found that artists using AI tools increased their monthly output by 50%. That is not just a little jump. It's a revolutionary change in how much one person can create.
But here's the catch. More art doesn't automatically mean more original art. And this is where we get into a really fascinating contradiction, a double-edged canvas, you could say.
This is the exact question that Zhao and Li's research really honed in on. With this absolute flood of new AI-assisted work, what's actually happening to the novelty, to the originality of the art that's being made?
And the answer, it turns out, is a paradox. So, on one hand, AI seems to lower the average novelty. It can lead to a lot of art that feels, well, a bit samey, as people start using similar prompts or popular styles. But, and this is a huge but, the very same study found that AI also helps create works with the absolute highest levels of novelty. We're talking about true breakthroughs. We've actually seen this kind of thing before. When photography was invented, a lot of people worried it would kill painting, but instead, it just pushed painters toward wild new forms of expression, like Impressionism and Modernism.
This whole paradox leads us straight into the heart of the conflict, because this isn't just about tools and workflows anymore. This is a potential crisis of creation, and it's raising some really tough questions about authorship, ethics, and the very fabric of the artistic community.
And listen, these are not just abstract philosophical debates. They are critical, real-world questions. Who is the author when an AI makes the image? Can an AI just replicate an artist's entire style without their permission? What does originality even mean anymore? And maybe the scariest one for artists, how do you stay visible in a sea of AI content?
Right now, artists are facing this really complex set of challenges. The whole idea of authorship is murky, and copyright law is playing a frantic game of catch-up. The sheer volume of AI work really does threaten to just drown out human creators. And as Vertola's research points out, a lot of artists feel this immense pressure to adopt these tools, just to avoid being left behind. And this tension, It's not just theoretical anymore, it's spilling out into the real world. We're seeing widespread protests from artists against online platforms that are embracing AI-generated work. It's creating a very clear and very deep rift inside the digital art community.
So, where does all this leave us? Is it just going to be a battle of humans versus machines? Well, according to the researchers we've been looking at, the future might be something else entirely. It might actually be about collaboration.
Yeah, the consensus that's emerging from these studies isn't one of conflict, but of synthesis. The most exciting path forward isn't about choosing one over the other.
As Ma and Yu put it, this is all about creating new creative processes that combine human and machine work. The artist becomes more like a director or a curator of ideas, guiding the AI to explore possibilities that neither one of them could ever achieve on their own.
And this really points to the ultimate potential here. History shows us that new tech rarely destroys old art forms, right? Photography didn't kill painting, it created a whole new medium. AI probably won't replace digital art. Instead, it could give rise to entire genres and art movements that, from where we're standing right now, are almost impossible to even imagine.
Which leaves us with the final and most essential question for the future of art. It might not be just about your skill with a brush or a stylus anymore. Maybe, just maybe, being an artist now is about the quality of your questions, the vision behind your prompts, and your ability to collaborate with one of the most powerful creative tools that has ever been invented.